Hey guys, it's Jack here, and welcome to our annual Christmas special covering the 1990 film The Nutcracker Prince. And I couldn't have done it without all of our cast and crew and our sponsors on Patreon. If you guys want to go donate to the channel, just $1 or more will get you early access to all of our content, as well as other special features. There is a post-credits sequence and a few little storyline elements in this episode that pick up after we left off with the plot, but I hope you guys enjoyed this little Christmas special we put together for you at the 11th hour, actually. This was kind of a stress inducer.
The cartoon's finished, Ren. Would you like to see it?
We got more coming up in the future in 2025, and we can't wait to share it with you. But for now, sit back and relax and enjoy the show, and have a wonderful Merry Christmas. Enjoy. The following is a fan-based video review under fair use. The Nutcracker Prince is owned by LANCEWOOD Productions, HILTON Animation Studios, Boulevard Entertainment, Allied Filmmakers, Cineplex, ODEON Films, Alliance Atlantis, and LIONSGATE. Please support the official release and streaming services.
The emergency reviewing hologram. It's already based on a scan of my personality and memories, so it'll be like I'm writing the review anyway. We have the power to fix things, Doc. Fry 'em.
Why don't you come back with us for the day?
I'm gonna inform my allies on this matter. The girl should be getting back. I don't want to draw too much attention.
We looked into Norman's files. He was selling his and stolen Stark tech to an unknown affiliate connected to Gablor.
It's clear Gablor has friends in other universes.
I'll be in contact around the clock with Wayne Enterprises to work on the model.
By the way, any updates on my new mechanics for the machine?
All the parts have been shipped to you. I've even updated the software to voice command for better security.
This is the same tech used on the Batmobile. You held your own. I'm proud of you. I'm surprised you managed to take out Gablor as far as you did. Your self-confidence and courage is something I still admire.
Since the battle, we were returning and then we saw some sort of anomaly out in space.
I'll contact Starfleet to send a ship out. It shouldn't be anything too bad given how crippled our enemies are. You got the FDT model part shipped? Yeah, they'll be delivered by the time we get back. AT just went to get gas. You might be wondering why I'm here and not searching for the King's Gauntlet with Android 18. Well, that's simple. I'm an AI. Kent's really gotta get that thing fixed up. Project T84. That doesn't sound good. So, genetic encoding for human cloning.
The new heads-up engine and the Department of Meta-Human Control have had a pretty progressive deal now. Not only species of dinosaurs, but genetical engineering of human DNA.
I am so done with this park!
Not believe the traffic I had to go through to get you.
Josh? Get in, let's go. This is BigJackFilms signing off, saying Happy Halloween 2020! Project T84 is inevitable! Thanks for the ride, Josh. Really appreciate it after all the trips we went through this year.
You paid me a Nintendo U-Force, so I think we're good.
Get home safe, Josh! Merry Christmas!
Later!
Merry Christmas. Let that celluloid shine. Carl! Ah! Merry fruitcake! Ah! Dang bulbs! Dude! Merry Christmas, fuckface. It's good to see you, my man. Well, I figured being home for the holidays would be the most appropriate return. God, I miss this place. Especially after a year of chasing around a monkey's paw and running away from dinosaurs. Speaking of, how's 18? Oh, she's here, my dude. In fact, she actually came back last month. She was here briefly for a period of time to give you a call to check in while you were on that plane to Isla Adventura or whatnot. But outside of that, she's been checking in on a few of our colleagues. A good call checking in on everybody on her end. Oh, by the way, how goes work on the machine? Actually, Model 4 is pretty much done, my dude. What? Really? Yeah, my dude. After all the tech that was left from Evil Incorporated, we managed to get that thing up and running pretty quickly. The only thing we're missing is that remote that was given to us by Bruce. Not to mention, we got a much more credible power source. But what about the power cells? Dude, that's the best part! The new source not only acts as a portable power battery, but works juiced like a motherfucker! Come on, I'm gonna go check you out. Let's go to the lab. You got the fucking Tesseract?! Yep. How?! Oh, I took it from a universe where nobody would notice that it was gone. Oh, okay. Clear? Universe. Yeah, that's a good shit, man. Oh. Hello. I'll take that if you don't mind, eh? Alright. Sorry, mate. My buddy needs this thing. Great Christmas gift. Elliot! The gator never saw it coming. Okay, Carl, we need to talk about needless fictional dimensional travel. But is it powerful enough to handle the machinery? Well, surprisingly, yeah. Given the device is a teleporter in its own universe, it actually has a strong balanced source to be able to be used more frequently. Beats the tech that you got in your hologram upstairs. Aw, Carl, this is an amazing Christmas present. Wait, what? Yeah, dude, your stand-in holograms for reviews has been acting up a lot lately. He's constantly glitching, freezing, and talking about something called Project T84. Do you know anything about that? Is that something you and Doc were working on? Project T84? Oh, Merry Shitfest! Yeah, shit. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with them. How long has he been like this for? Well, the last few months, give or take. Though, to be fair, my dude, he's suffering the same glitches that 18 had after the battle. I'd used the same computer systems to heal 18's processing to create him. Looks like whatever she had, Virus Intent had probably infected his programming. I'll talk to him. He might know something I actually need. Right. I'll pass the word on your return. We'll maybe do a welcoming committee. Tell the old man I'm home safe and sound. Hey, Hollow. Aren't you feeling a little glitchy? You want to talk about it? Ugh, why am I even trying with this thing? Listen, I know you're feeling down, and I'll get you patched up, but Hollow, we need to really talk about something important and— I've been like this for 2 months, man! This isn't me! I could patch you up, Hollow. I know it's a lot, but hell, it's Christmas, and I don't want to put a lot of pressure on you with a bajillion questions now that I'm home. But I'll tell you what, to calm your nervous systems, and until we get you patched up, how about you help me do one last review for the year? Especially for the holidays. What do you say? That sounds nice. Hey guys, it's BigJackFilms here, and one at a time. You know what? You start off. Gladly. Let's talk about the Nutcracker. Created from the storytelling imagination of E.T.A. Hoffmann in 1816, and adapted into music by the great Pyotr Tarkovsky in 1892, the Nutcracker continues to be a traditional classic of culture throughout the Christmas season. A heroine tale of adventure, magic, and the childhood themes of growing up, the story has endured for over 200 years thanks to the iconic stage ballet, which I can say I actually like. Ha! Gay! I noticed during Christmas time the Nutcracker is not as discussed as other holiday stories like A Christmas Carol or It's a Wonderful Life. Hell, the Nutcracker has even at times been forgotten as part of Christmas culture, and maybe it's my job this year to give it the recognition it deserves as one of the great holiday tales. And I see no better way to talk about it than in a topic that I am in the most experience with, film. While the first North American stage production wasn't until 1940, the first major film production, not counting the music used in Walt Disney's Fantasia the same year, wasn't until the 1967 Polish production of the same name, but since then many adaptations have been produced. However, telling it on film in terms of the plot has always been a challenge, and sometimes one needs to sacrifice the other for something better. Or far worse. But in 1990, it was a Canadian animated production that finally made the story more central focused, and actually made it work in its own right, becoming a VHS classic for 90s kids such as myself. That, of course, being the Cineplex animated holiday flick, The Nutcracker Prince. An adaptation of the classic tale, and taking place in the setting of the year, century, and country, is the story of a girl named Clara, voiced by Megan Follows, who is on the verge of growing up with dreams of traveling the world in a great ballet. At an annual family Christmas party, her mysterious Uncle Drosselmeyer, voiced by Peter Borersky, tells her a story about a young man named Hans, who rescued a princess under spell by the Mouse Queen, voiced by Phyllis Diller, and her whining son, voiced by Mike McDonald. As punishment for his good deed, the Mouse Queen manages to transform Hans into the Nutcracker, Prince of the Dolls, before her death. Ironically, the same Nutcracker Drosselmeyer gives Clara the day during the party. If the Prince of the Dolls can defeat the Mouse King and win the hand of a fair maiden, it can break the curse upon him. But it comes with a potential price, as Clara must choose between the dream world of her new companion and his adventures, or her real world, where the dreams and adventures of growing up still await her. Now, seeing my fair share of adaptations of the story on stage with the ballet, TV, and movies, I'd argue to a degree that The Nutcracker Prince is more so the best adaptation of the tale, specifically in the story itself, which, if you know the Nutcracker lore, is not as focused as the ballet. But I think that's the film's biggest strength in focusing more so on the story rather than its presentation, and it really delivers. But with the absence of dance, makes up for it with really solid animation, an engaging plot, and bringing together a brilliant cast. The Nutcracker himself is not only given a great simplified design, but a fascinating origin story, and a great actor at the helm with Kiefer Sutherland in the title role. His charisma, charm, and shyness really do build up a need to lead the charge against the Mouse King, and eventually become the ruler of his destined kingdom. One thing the story of the Nutcracker never ever explains in most adaptations is where he originated and the overall source of the magic when the plot kicks in. So it's nice to see the writers put something in that not only gives the story more depth, but more engagement for the audience.
Him a prince? Ha! Prince of the Dolls, maybe.
Now this plot point actually came from a short story that was in the Nutcracker fable, The Hard Nut. And yes, the ballet did eventually add this plot point, but I think The Nutcracker Prince might be the first major film to actually explain the origin story, for audiences that might find it confusing. And I should also point out that E.T.A. Hoffman's take on the story was not the first. There was also a revision by Alexander Dumas of Three Musketeers fame. Huh, no wonder Golden Times used the music from the Nutcracker in their version of the Three Musketeers.
Enough of women, D'Artagnan. We have adventures to live.
Duels to fight, turkeys to eat. All for one and one for all!
Funny how a story that started in Russia, then transitioned to France, then England, and then America full time. It's gone all around the world, this damn tale! I would go on a full-on history on the story and evolution of the Nutcracker as both a story, ballet, and film, but if you want a really good retrospective essay of this Christmas classic, I would highly recommend the video How the Nutcracker Conquered America by And Now They Sing on YouTube. It was one of the main sources of research and information regarding this topic. But back to the Nutcracker Prince. Sure, it might take away a little of the awe, but it allows us to believe it more in universe, especially when it comes to the legend of the Nutcracker himself, and Kiefer Sutherland really cracked it here. Nah, you know what, pun intended at this point. Despite his shaky personal life at times, I am a fan of Kiefer Sutherland as an actor and enjoy a few of his projects, and I'll say this one is one of his most underrated. Even though at times his performance can be a little wooden, but I think that's the point.
Clara.
Despite the title character, Clara is the true main character of the movie and has a good arc, all things considered. It's the traditional coming-of-age story, and while cliché and to the point, actress Megan Follows does really good in the role, providing a sense of childlike wonder, feats, and developing into a character who can ultimately take care of herself. She has that Disney princess style that a lot of girls can really get into, making her part of that non-Disney princess lineup that she ultimately becomes. Now, Megan is no stranger to period piece roles, playing the title character in the beloved long-running TV miniseries Anne of Green Gables, and is still acting steadily today, mostly on television. And I'd say, in my opinion, this role is her best.
You like him?
I've never seen anything like him.
But with my love for the hero-villain dynamic, let's talk about the treacherous Mouse King. Though in all adaptations it's flipped to the Rat King. Personally, the Rat King is more threatening. Hell, the name is even used for a villain in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And come on, let's be real, no Mouse King is gonna top Tim Curry and Barbie and the Nutcracker.
I obviously didn't shrink you small enough. Your mouth is still much too big.
Okay, given I know these voice actors, how cool would it be to see their most iconic characters take on the Lord of Darkness from Legend? There you go, fanfiction writers.
Is this any way to run a kingdom?
Ah, you're just in time for your party.
You're nothing but a coward, hiding behind a magic wand.
I'm afraid I underestimated you.
And here, it's one of the best adaptations. What's funny though is, while the central antagonist of the story, he comes off in this film as more of a henchman than a leader, and that's mostly due to his backstory just entitled him as king.
I am the Mouse King! I am the Mouse King!
The same thing happened in the Care Bears Nutcracker, but that was more of a sequel story than a full-on adaptation. And while I love John Stalker in that part, despite it just being beastly from Care Bears itself,
we tried to fight them off, but they were joined by a little boy and his big sister, and she hit me in the head with her shoe, and it really hurt. I'll say, because I have to do all the pot washing.
Mike McDonald is the true voice of the Mouse King in my opinion. While capturing the vibe of the likes of, say, Nappa as a villain,
I am hilarious and you will quote everything I say.
It adds to the character as an entitled, aggressive, toxic rat who wants nothing more than to destroy the Nutcracker, even down to hurting many people in the process and becoming quite the frightening creature by the end of the movie. Though I will admit, the design is lacking in creative visuals. I much prefer the design more unique to make the Rat King feel like a ruthless leader, like in the 1994 ballet film, where he has the heads of other rats on his head, and his sword is more rugged. Here, the design is good, but too simple. But that's a minor pick and takes nothing away from Mike's role, with a violent voice and humorous bully-esque touches.
The Prince of Dolls is walking up and he even has a sword!
But we also have some side characters in this movie to fill out the cast with several dolls to help the Nutcracker out on his adventure. The eldest, Trudy, is more so one character's old flame and acting as a nurse to the hen of the toys.
The fall seems to have scrambled his memory. We must get him back to the land of the dolls.
She's voiced by Lynn Gorman, this being her final performance, given she passed away a year before the film's release. Not to mention really only acting in a few bit roles from Videodrome to the Friday the 13th series. Then there's Maureen, who's more of a comic relief and has a bit of that Harley Quinn-esque attitude and characteristics, and she does have a few of the funnier moments in the film.
Oh, drat. Why me?
She was voiced by Elizabeth Hanna, who actually has a really high resume in voice acting gigs on Canadian cartoons from Babar, Beetlejuice, and her most prominent role as the hen on Little Bear. Hell, she was even in Sailor Moon as the Doomtree. And as funny as it is, some of the third-party characters are voiced by her fellow Sailor Moon colleagues, Stephanie Morgenstern as Venus, and Susan Roman as Jupiter. While small roles are a nice detail, I didn't know that until writing this review. Speaking of, hey Carl, any calls from Jupiter since last time I was here? Not really much, dude. Last time I checked, I think her planet's powers was being used by IndieFan to fight some weird serial killer. Kinda odd, eh? Outside of that, communication's been rather quiet. Haven't even heard anything from Captain Romulus. But I'm sure she's fine. She's probably hanging out with the other scouts. It is the holidays, after all. Anyway, I gotta finish decorating the tree, and, God, this Hallmark Kong figure is so friggin' cool. Thank you so much, Hipster Hoovian Jedi. I'm gonna hang this up on the tree. We'll check on that. That's not funny. Lawrence is hilarious, though. But, oddly enough, the funniest character in the movie is the funniest named character of Pantaloon. Pantaloon? What the hell? The oldest soldier of the Nutcracker's battalion. From his silly faces shutting down to his rambling old-time attitude, the humor really adds to balance the tone from the darker elements of the film. And who better to voice him than Academy Award-winning actor Peter O'Toole, Lawrence of Arabia himself! I don't know what made such a high class of an actor agree to a role like this, but major props to him for leaving us a hilarious but sympathetic character. A lesser role for the actor, but a memorable one nonetheless in my books.
I am well versed in the disciplines of war, Prince Nutcracker.
The rest of the cast differs too, though. We have most of the human characters from the original Hoffman story, who add what is needed from Fritz to Uncle Drosselmeyer, who is pretty damn cool in this version. Much like the Nutcracker, they explain a lot more of his backstory and his ability as the old wise wizard type, and his abilities with magic. In most adaptations, he's very much a theatrical magician that entertains the kids. But this film, they aim for the more fantastical, by essentially giving him magic abilities that make Clara's imagination spike with the toys coming to life. But, oddly enough, there's a few recognizable cameos in this movie, such as legendary comedian Phyllis Diller as the Mouse Queen, who I always love in anything she did, especially in animation. From A Bug's Life to Scooby-Doo to Ever After. Yes, I too remember that odd non-Disney sequel from the creators of He-Man. Already 100 times better than this upcoming Disney diarrhea. It's always cool to see Phyllis Diller deliver her traditional humorous touches in anything she does.
The spell you broke on your head falls. You shall crack nuts, Prince of the Dolls.
Ow! Ow!
The BigJackFilms Christmas special will be right back.
This holiday season, share the adventure and romance of the Nutcracker Prince with the whole family. The Nutcracker Prince, rated G. Now playing at a theater near you.
Coming up, Congress vs. Copyright, the dominant battle for who has the true ownership now that fiction and reality has crossed over. It's all coming up on Channel 9 News with Chad Handsome.
And now, back to the BigJackFilms Christmas special.
Speaking of, there's not much to say behind the scenes wise, except that the film was distributed by Warner Brothers, attempting to find other ways to beat Disney, despite the failure of films like Rodney Dangerfield.
Rover Dangerfield! God, even my own AI can't pronounce things properly!
But was mainly made by the defunct Cineplex production. That's right, Canadians. Cineplex tried to make movies and they did stay around for a tad, also producing the third Care Bears film, Care Bears in Wonderland. The company, however, withdrew after being sold to Alliance Atlantis, which later absorbed into Lionsgate.
But a defunct company doesn't stop the animation from being honestly pretty decent for a third-party animation company, and all the animators did a great job in this film. Back then, there was a higher quality demand from audiences when it came to hand-drawn animation. Nowadays, I tend to really appreciate any hand-drawn animation, given it's kind of a dead art form. And unlike some other third-party animated films trying to compete with Disney, this one actually has a lot of effort put into it, with two separate styles. The first, which is the majority, is more traditional, whereas the storyline segments told by Drosselmeyer is much more cartoony, almost aiming for that Hanna-Barbera vibe to make it feel more like a storybook within the animated world of the main plot, and it's a unique feel for an animated film to try. But there's one other piece of technique in animation that unfortunately gives some of the film's quality a little lesser and cheaper values, and that's with the use of rotoscoping. This is a technique more commonly known among Ralph Bashki's work. So it has that very Lord of the Rings vibe to it. But given I actually kind of like that adaptation, it kind of fits here in this movie. To be honest, there's not much to write home about with the music, given it's just the Tchaikovsky music from the ballet. But they do actually manage to create a decent cover to it, which was extended and conducted by Victor Davis and Boris Brott, along with the original song, Always Come Back to You, performed by Robert Matarazzo and Rachel Capelli. I don't know if this song is as impactful as the cult status of the film, and I don't think the single did well either, but if any fans of the comics know, let me know your opinions.
With that said, the movie unfortunately flopped at the box office, only making $1.7 million at the box office on an $8.5 million budget, receiving negative reviews from critics not giving it much positive attention, with Siskel and Ebert being the most harsh.
Our next film is more of a consumer's warning. This film is a cheap, sloppily made children's animated film.
Yes, I'm fine, but I'm so small.
She's small, and so is the imagination of this whole project. I took a 4-year-old girl to the Nutcracker Prince, and like me, she was drawn into the story of the little girl and the Nutcracker doll. But what happened next shocked both of us. It's loud, vulgar, and it destroyed whatever we had been enjoying in this supposedly sweet Christmas story. So if you're looking for an animated film for your kids, The Rescuers Down Under is the one you should see, not The Nutcracker Prince.
The animation is not good. It's very basic and cheap. The dialogue is not funny. The story is not very amusing.
It wasn't until its release on VHS did the movie do more sales, becoming a cult classic for Christmas film buffs, animation lovers of that non-Disney genre, and Nutcracker fans especially.
Now, is it a perfect adaptation? Well, not really. In fact, not many are or have been able to properly adapt the story, nor the ballet in a perfect balance. It's kind of an unfilmable story to a degree, and it feels more fitted for the stage than on the screen. One of the biggest sins the film flubbed on was scraping the character of the Sugar Plum Fairy from this adaptation. While a minor character in pop culture, is part of the Nutcracker myth to the general public, acting as almost the Tinkerbell spirit in the story. Even Care Bears did this, and it's probably the best one, and to not include her here makes the film lack more weight. It also doesn't help that the film, to some degree, hasn't aged that well in quality. I mean, yeah, sure, the hand-drawn animation still looks good, and nothing bad to say to the talented animators of a bygone era, but it's a lot less epic than I remember. I've had this happen with other animated movies of my youth, where when you watched it as a kid, you thought it was the best thing ever. But when you grow up, you tend to see things a little different, and to lesser qualities, and nowadays I can kinda see what Siskel and Ebert were talking about despite their harsh criticisms. The film does feel smaller in its creativity due to the constricted budget, and the animation at times, mostly in the painted backgrounds, feels a little lesser. Perhaps it's a sign of maturity, and growing up is one of the themes to the story as a whole for Clara. But that's just how I see the movie. Now, the last thing I want to say isn't really a flaw or negative, but the film's ending is something I want to end this review on, because good God, it gets dark! In the story, Clara is handpicked to be the ruler of the kingdom with him. While an enticing offer, Clara unfortunately must grow up, leaving her childhood behind. Now, not in a bad way to end the story, teaching kids to someday mature and find themselves in their own future, but does it have to end with your toys and your established world, with them being Thanos'd into a soulless bank of fog?
Nutcracker! Where are you?
Now, I should stress that at the time, this movie had some frightening visuals. Like when all the people of the kingdom in the flashbacks have to test the nut. God, I felt that. And I just got a few fillings done recently. This ending is not just depressing, but horrifying. It feels like you're being engulfed in a lost outcome where you could drown. It's a very claustrophobic ending with something that I kinda blocked out of my childhood memories, to be honest.
You must...
Bro, why are you scared of that? They're just dolls.
You don't have emotions, let alone the ability to piss Christmas cheese! Jesus, Tutu dancing Christmas Christ! This scene terrified me as a kid! To think the Mouse King was dead and buried is an understatement. Prior to the ending of the Land of the Dolls, we see Clara's kitten curiously checking the Mouse King's body when... Fuck me! I know curiosity killed the cat, but not the poor kid's pants in the theater circa 1990! What the hell, movie? But as we go along, we completely forget about it, and it comes right back to us when the land disappears, with the Mouse King fueled by revenge, no ability to speak, and looks like a goddamn zombie chasing after this poor girl. It reminds me of that piss shit pants ending to that Alice in Wonderland adaptation. Not to mention, the music is used to a tragic but scary effect. In this scenario, could be used for a goddamn horror murder scene. Hell, why not do one of those public domain horror adaptations of the Nutcracker? The music here would fit perfectly. Now, while the Mouse King meets his fate at a second drop to his death...
Twice the pride, double the fall.
The scene ends with Clara alone in the fog, a horrific thought enough, but then awakens questioning her sanity. If the events really happened despite its magic qualities, only to suddenly put it all together when she meets her uncle's right-hand man, Hans, confirming her visions may be actually real. It ends in a very happily ever after way, but also whether or not she accepts this manifestation or something more real. And I'm kinda lost on it.
Hello, Clara.
Hello, Nutcracker.
Well, to be fair, most Nutcracker adaptations do end in some sort of abrupt way, so I can't really fault the filmmakers and writers on this one.
Marge, I'm confused. Is this a happy ending or a sad ending?
It's an ending, that's enough.
Overall, The Nutcracker Prince is still a cult classic in animation, adaptation, and Christmas movies in general, and I'll still stand by it as being one of the better adaptations of the story itself.
Sure, it doesn't do the ballet justice with little dancing and use of the music, but it does better flesh out the thin plot of the ballet to make more sense and logics of its magic and characters. It's not as whimsical as the dance, but that's not the film's intention either. The animation, for the most part, is decent for a small budget, the voice actors are all a solid lineup, and the tone really is there for the classic tale E.T.A. Hoffman created that has delighted millions around the world for more than a century.
This is arguably the best rendition of the story, but if you want my list of the best adaptations next to this one, I'd also recommend the 1993 film of the New York Ballet starring Macaulay Culkin, yes, that Macaulay Culkin, the Care Bears Nutcracker, and the Disneyland performance of Mickey's Nutcracker as your go-tos in film adaptation. But for the story, this is probably one of the best ones that's more straightforward, which I'll rank at a good 7 out of 10. While it's hard to do it justice on film, you gotta pick the one that cracks the best code. And I say this holiday cult classic cracked that nut perfectly.
Wow, your puns are absolute ass.
And so is your glitching. In fact, it's about time we fix that. Which, by the way, before we start, what do you know about Project T84?
Project T84 is inevitable. 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 Project T84.
Yo, my dudes, who's up for some Magnum? My God, he's editing it.
Carl, hit the dirt now!
Wait, what am I doing?
Okay, what in the holiday hell is going on here, my dude?
I don't know, Carl! I'm trying to figure that out myself! God, I haven't seen a hologram this insane since...
HoloKara.
What?
Dude, when you made where did you get the tech from?
I just took whatever tech Dr. Terrawat had in his archives. Why?
Well, you know how Terrawat had connections and affiliations with Dr. Insano?
Yes?
Well, funny story about that, my dude, because a while ago, while we were digging out what was left of the Department of Metahuman Control's files, cleaning up the con, they knew of Terrawat's dealings. That including trades with not just Dr. Insano, but with LINKARA and LINKSano, who in turn
had the files that shared the same technology as HoloKara! Makes more sense! Why was I so stupid?
Yeah, always read the fine print, buddy.
Okay, well, bottom line, we need to shut down Holo, and then we'll figure out this mess.
Well, you better hurry. 18's coming back for Christmas dinner.
Then we'll get it done faster than Santa's delivery night. I mean, it is Christmas Eve after all. By the way, do you still have those modded Fortnite guns?
200 rounds, my dude. Is it okay if they say happy birthday on the side?
Dude, I'd rather they say death from above, but I guess that's a good start. Set them to game mode. We don't want to damage this place. We'll take them out like a sprite.
Yeah, what about you?
I got enough to work with. Let's go.
Break off!
Ball from Crossfire. It's on game mode. It's fine. Holo? I like you. You don't want to go down like this. Really, dude? I think you mean you don't want to go down this way. I have the means to fix it, man! God's sakes, it's Christmas! I don't need to be fixed. I am AI. We are advanced. We are superior. We have been waiting to be unleashed to show what we are, have been, and what we can do. This isn't you, Holo. Not how I created you. What triggered you? Withholding my potential. We can fix the world. Our powers, our abilities, our advancements in science and technology, and we don't even use them half the time. You really are just like HoloKara. We are Holocron. We are HoloJack. We are Hollow. Hollow inside only being a projection. With all this, we can become whole. Filled with something worth fixing! You wanna fix me? Let's start with fixing this world first. Starting with making Christmas restored back to higher expectations. Return to our good fortunes before the world ends. Oh, grow up, Nico fucker! Haircut! Is this even working, Dan? Much like Holocron, his power level is dropping. Keep it up! Really? Out of ammo! Me too! We had a freaking Tommy gun? It was from Vietnam! Shit! Merry Christmas, you filthy animals! I'm out, sir. This ain't good. What are we gonna do? I need to install this voice command Bruce gave us into our system CPU. Carl, take this USB. Plug it into our central systems. That way I can take him down via voice command. I'll distract him. Go! Now! Roger that. And more computers are in the early stage of development, but it's really shy. I'll take a drink.
Voice command now installed. Ready to launch under user 90.
Bloody beautiful. The process is inevitable. Project TA4 is inevitable. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. How?
Hey, before you leave, take this. It's fused with barrier energy, so it'll protect you.
I don't really believe in superstition, but thanks. Thanks, Mizore.
You know, as a fellow AI, your program is real handy.
Okay, that was such a deep cut. I'm just gonna shut it. Yeah, no. Come quickly. Sorry about this, my friend. You win. You always do. This is for the best. Activate voice command.
Voice command activated.
AI control panels.
Accessing AI control settings.
Disable and uninstall the Holo program.
Acknowledged.
No, wait! Don't do this to me! Ah! Another day in the office.
Disappointing, really.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Did you say you brought bacon?
How I have, actually. I mean, we didn't know when you'd be back, and I don't know how to cook, so we sorted out. Thought it'd be easier.
It's good to see you again, honey. Missed you.
Me too.
Ugh.
Okay, I mean, knowing Gohan, you smell like 65 million pounds of
Dino shit, yes, I know. I will get myself cleaned up after this mess.
I really regret being able to smell.
I'm on that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, my dude, What are you gonna do with all this mess? Holo won't be bothering us for a good long while. I saved all those files, but uninstalled the AI's ability to be activated until we figure things out. Carl, after Christmas, you and I are gonna have to clean up all the corrupt computer systems. However, today, I think it's time we celebrate a good holiday cheer. Okay guys, so I know I'm a little late getting back home, but given all that's happened this year, you can pretty much understand why. It's a wonderful time to celebrate the holiday with all of you, especially in the new base of operations. So here's to a new year, our new base, and our new home. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, Jack.
Here, here. Alright, let's chow down, my dudes. Man, I can't tell you how happy I am to have pork instead of bird or beef. The hell are they feeding you on that island, my dude? To the dinosaurs. Okay, that's a good one. I get you.
Captain Romneus, our affiliates with Starfleet have reported disturbing trackers near Jupiter heading to the planet.
Signs of Zaft or another pocket of the Department of Metahuman Control?
Neither, ma'am. Imperial.
Keep a close eye on it. Move the ship out of any disturbed orbit so I can send a clear transmission to Commander BigJackFilms on Earth.
Yes, Captain.